Welcome to Papa John's World. I bought this, I think it's an R60 Frontier Brush Hog. Frontier builds parts for John Deere. Anyway, it doesn't have a lot of hours on it. I think it's a 2012, but you can see it speed up pretty good. But the gearbox and everything turns fine. This one has a slip clutch on it instead of a shear pin. It's really a nice addition when you're brush hogging up in the mountains and stuff like that. It's had a little bit of work done here and there. Anyway, I picked it up at an auction. I think I paid 180 bucks for it. I think I bid 200 on it, and it sold to me for 180. Anyway, the stump jumper pan on the inside was totally trashed. Let me show you what that looks like. So the pan, you can see, was pretty much tore up, and the blades, this is what held the blades, they're pretty much gone on that. And I had a heck of a time getting it off the shaft. This is a weird spline shaft. It's a 12 spline, but the splines are wide in the grooves and narrow on the spline. So I bought a new stump jumper for the bottom of it. It's also a 12 spline. I bought this from Agri Supply. It was like 99 bucks or something, not super expensive. But of course the splines don't line up. Pretty close to the same diameter. They're just off, maybe 50 thousandths, something like that. Not a whole lot. So here's the old one, and you can see what I had to do to get it off. I actually cut with a cutting torch along that side to get it loosened up where I could pull it with a gear puller. That thing was on there, I'll tell you what. So now my choice is to buy a $250 part, and then I'd have 100 bucks in this and some blades in this, or I can repair this and put it in here. I might try to do that. Let's see, and then I can get it, probably run that the rest of its life and not even change the blades for what I want to do. Just a little brush hogging up in the mountains. Well, let's see if I can fix that. See what my idea is. This piece goes on like that. And I think I can clean this up a little bit and weld a bar in here. Fill this up with weld. This is the part that welds into the stump pan. And then I can put another bushing around here just to help strengthen this where this weld is. This, I believe, is cast steel. It's not cast iron. But I think I can do that without screwing it up too bad. Let me try. I tore that up pretty good when I cut that loose. And as I cut that, I just watched that spline, and when I got to the spline, I quit cutting and moved on. And anyway, I got it off without hurting the shaft, and I didn't even hurt the seal. I would cut a little bit and then cool it off with a air water sprayer. Let me see if I can get this cleaned up. Take and file some of that out. Let's see. pulled so hard on that with my big gear puller trying to pull it off that it actually cracked the hub around where that piece was welded on. So when we weld that, we'll fill that up with weld. We need to clean this out a little bit. And there's a couple of splines that aren't going to engage, but I think if I clean the rest of them out so it goes on the shaft fine and weld a little collar there, I think it'll hold. What I'd like to do is get this cleaned up and welded up kind of round, maybe put it in the lathe to clean it, and then make sure it goes on the shaft right before I cut the one out of the other stump jumper plate. Okay, here's the plan. Here's a small piece of 2 3/8 drill stem. I'm going to tack it in there. A little piece of 1/4 inch rod there, and I bent this little piece to fit in here. That's 1/2 by 1/8. I'm going to tack it in with my wire feeder, and then I'll take it over on the spline and see if it actually fits, if it'll slide on and off. And then if it does, I'll tack it a little better, and then I'll heat this up a little bit, and I'll weld this all up with a 70-18 low hydrogen stick rod. I just think it's stronger than the wire on the wire feeder for this application. Let's see. Okay, we'll get this ready to weld. We've kind of filled up all the holes with our wire feeder. I'm going to hit it with a wire brush a little bit. Now we're going to run stringers basically with 332 70-18. This is an AC rod, but it works fine on DC. And we're going to start here, and we're going to probably go about to the middle, and then we're going to start out here on this end and go back to the middle. We're just going to do that a couple of times, and once I do that, I'll weld all the way across, then I'll weld all the way back, just back and forth, trying to keep it level. So I'll fill in these holes first and try not to get it too hot on either side. Yeah, I can start to see it's pretty hot. So it gets a radius right here, the same as this part, and then it will get just stringers built up here, so it will be round. So I have quite a bit to build up right here and a little bit more here. And we'll put it in the lathe and clean it off after it cools off. Yeah. Let you watch a few more beads. That looks like an ugly mess, but when you chip off the flux, it looks pretty good actually. And you see there's a couple of little bitty holes right there, and that's from when you strike in the arc, it blows little trash in there. We're going to grind that out. got to machine that square right back there. Clean this off. I might do a little work in there. I might try to rebuild that one tooth a little bit, but I think it'd be fine even without it. So we'll get that in the lathe and cleaned up. Getting there, lots to go. Well, we're done machine work with that little piece. See where it didn't have it exactly perfect in the lathe, but you can't really even feel that too much, but I'm sure that'll be fine. So this weld's going to get ground off and this piece removed. This square shoulder here will fit down in that. I think I could show you what I mean there. Oh. So that will fit right in there. And I think that's a step on that machine, but we won't turn it down that far till we know for sure. The other thing is when that's welded in there like that, I kind of want to have a little bit of extra strength right here, and that's all weld. Well, there it is, the John Deere hub welded on the cheaper stump jumper. 3 passes, one first pass, a lower second pass, and then a third pass up on it. The other thing I did was I took this 3/4 square and I bent it around this hub. I tacked it on and just bent it around with heat and welded it together right there. And I put it on, it was hard enough you had to kind of drive it on with a hammer with this gapped, and I heated this outside ring up hot and then welded this up. And I also seal welded it around there and also on the bottom, and that is just to keep that hub from cracking, just some added support. I don't know if I needed it, but it didn't cost nothing. Anyway, we're just going to grind this up, grind that up there, and this is so close to the center, it's not balancing, I don't think was an issue. I have put it on the spline and checked it for square. It does rotate fine. Okay, so that's about it. Here's the old hub, remember, wrong spline. There we go. I'm gonna run that up. Little blue Loctite. Can't hurt nothing. This probably will never get taken off again in this Brush Hog's lifetime. So, and it does get a cotter key too. Looking for the hole, the Allen wrench. I don't know. tack weld that on there a little bit. Couple spots. And there, that's that. There's a notch on the back side. And we're gonna put the flat side in and the writing side out. Get that started. Let's see if I can. Okay. Let's go look at the other side, see how it looks. Yeah. Well, she's loose like she's supposed to be. Nuts tight. And gotta get that keyway. If you're ever going to do this, you want to make sure and ground to what you're welding on. If not, you'll spark a bearing. That would be a bad deal. Not hot enough. Okay, we're ready to lay this bad boy down. There she is, ready to go. Put a piece of belting on the front. Got the drive line lubed up. Got oil in the gearbox. I had to grind down the bolts a little bit. They were hitting the top of the brush hog when they spun. They don't hit now, but I don't have a way to get a Carter pin through there. So I'm just going to tack weld a nut to the bolt, and that'll keep them from coming loose. Probably lasts the rest of its lifetime. I won't need to take that apart. Anyway, we went to the mountain. It's so dry up there. I'm a little leery of running a brush hog. If we get in some rocks and sparks, I don't know that it would start a fire, but it could, I think. So I think it's going to sit here till spring, and we're going to go up in the spring. So when I go up there and I brush hog that sagebrush, I'll make a video of it for you guys. Hey, thanks for watching Papa John's World. I really appreciate it. Please subscribe. Don't cost nothing.